One pitcher, one hitter that you must avoid at their current ADP. I'm Alan Seslowsky. He's Jeff Erickson. Jeff, let's start with the bottom of the division from last year's standings. The lowly Texas Rangers. Who's a pitcher that you're avoiding this year?
I'm going to go with the guy that actually helped people win leagues last year, and that's Joe Barlow. And earlier on, I was drafting him. I dug into the numbers a little bit more. He walked a ton in the minors and still had like a 10% walk rate, even with the Rangers when he was converting saves. The offseason isn't done. I think they add another arm in the back end of that bullpen. I don't think you're getting a full-time closer with him. So I've been starting to avoid Joe Barlow.
Who's the Ranger hitter that when they go off the board, you're always like, that's a little too soon?
It's Marcus Semien. I like Marcus Semien a lot. But I don't like him in the third round, and that's where he's going in drafts. We're paying for his career year. Now, granted, his career year last year was worth a first-round pick, but even still, you compare his draft price to now, which is in the 30s, to where it was a year ago. You're paying a lot more, and he's going to a much worse ballpark in a lesser lineup. I think you can do better for the draft capital. Like, give me Xander Bogaerts over Marcus Semien. Yeah, I know you're going to get fewer stolen bases, but you're going to get a lot more stability.
Who's the Angels pitcher that you're not drafting this year?
Almost all of them, but Noah Syndergaard is the one. I'm not going to take the chance. And a great story. Hope it works out. 1-year deal. It's a make good deal. Sight unseen. Haven't seen him throw yet. I can't draft him right now.
Who and why are you not taking this Angels hitter?
Our mutual good friend Chris Liss likes to call him Anthony Rendon. I am not going to take Anthony Rendon for the price. I have taken him, I think, one league so far, but you're paying 30 homer price, and he's really all but 1 year. He's been more of a mid-20s sort of homer guy. There's a lot of injury risk with Anthony Rendon, and you absolutely zero speed. So you just have to keep that in mind when you're drafting that in that slot. You think you might be getting more than you are.
All right, Oakland Athletics. Who's the trap pitcher this year?
James Kaprielian had a pretty decent debut with the A's. Wore down a little bit in the second half. He's a guy that's been hurt a lot in his career. He threw 119 innings last year, and that's been the most he's thrown. I almost wonder if there's more growing pains in his first full year with the A's. They're going to ask a lot of him because they're a thinner rotation this year. But I think that means that they'll leave him in more, and he'll take his lumps a little bit more often. So I don't want to be there when that happens.
Okay, talking about the A's bats now. Who's the must avoid?
For the price, again, Alan, this is a good hitter. Matt Olson. I'm not taking first baseman where he usually goes, somewhere late in the third round, usually. Sometimes it goes in the fourth. I know there's some thought that he's going to get traded, and when he does, he's going to go to a better ballpark. That is all true. I just think there are a lot of first basemen I'm typically avoiding that tier, whether it's him, whether it's Paul Goldschmidt, other first basemen in that range. I'm usually not drafting them.
On Seattle, who's the pitcher, though, that you just don't want any part of at the current cost?
Marco Gonzales is not all that expensive, but he's also not a big arm. He's a guy that's had some success. He's an innings eater. He had 10 wins last year. He feels to me like he's on the precipice of disaster. And, he had a pretty decent second half, but there's a lot of home runs in his arm, and I just think that you don't have the strikeout upside to pay off on that. So I'm going to avoid Marco Gonzales.
Where's everybody else paying up for the Seattle bats that you're just avoiding right now?
Yeah, unlike the last three hitters, this is not a guy that's going early, and I'm still not taking him. That's Kyle Lewis. Doesn't walk much. I don't think he's going to run much in his return. They're talking about putting him in a DH a lot. And I think he's a fantasy reserve bat, and he's drafted as like a fourth or fifth outfielder.
Is there a Houston Astros pitcher that you don't want? I know there's a lot of them that you do want, but which one don't you want?
I'm just not going to pay the price on Lance McCullers because of health concerns. I think that one's a pretty easy decision. I like all the other Houston starting pitchers. So we'll say Lance McCullers. He said he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. Said that about a week and a half ago.
Okay, our last must avoid. Let's talk about the Houston Astros hitters. Who's a must avoid?
See, I like most of the Astros hitters, so this was a tough call. I'm not going to take Jose Altuve for the price. If he gets discounted, like his teammate Alex Bregman, I'm willing to take him if I get a round or two discount on him. But here's the thing. He's not going to run. He's going to get you maybe 3 or 4 stolen bases, maybe less. And with my middle infielders, I like guys that can run. I like having to get, you typically need about 100 stolen bases on your team. If you're getting 2 or 3 out of your second base slot, that necessarily means you need to get stolen bases elsewhere. It means sometimes that forces you to get a hitter that can't hit very well, that's just to get your stolen bases. I don't want to be put in that position. So I haven't added Jose Altuve yet. Doesn't mean I won't, but in most formats, he doesn't fit very well.
Prediction time. You said that the Rangers might make their way off the bottom of the division. Who do you think is going to be the bottom of the barrel in the AL West this year?
Our Oakland A's, I think they're going to tear the franchise down, unfortunately. They already let their manager walk. They are one of 3 teams that haven't acquired a major league player, period. And I think there's going to be some sell-off here, too. Maybe one of their starters, maybe Matt Olson, maybe Matt Chapman. I think that it could be ugly this year.
To see the rest of our divisional must drafts and must avoid, we put all the links in the video description below. And to see all of our draft kit, our rankings, our cheat sheets, and all our premium content for free for 10 days, go to rotowire.com/tribe.